Hello Taurus, welcome to your June 2019 reading. So I was just shuffling now, the Seven of Pentacles popped out. Oh! Another card, which I'll get to in a minute. The Seeker inverted. The Seeker is an extra major arcana card in the Pagan Underworld deck that we're working with today. That represents the end of the Fool's journey. Death inverted. Okay, so there's a lot of impatience here today. You have put a lot of energy and resources into developing an aspect of your life, and you're really just wishing it was done. You're kind of fed up with this whole, like, the concept of the infinite return of cycling through the leap of faith that the Fool represents and getting to, I feel like you kind of get to the end and you're like, I am not interested in beginning again, thank you very much. And this Death inverted. It's almost like you put a lot of work into something thinking it would go one way, and instead it's going another, and that other way was like the intention that Spirit had for you all along, and you're just not having it. Not having it, Taurus. So let's see. For what you were investing in, we have the Chariot inverted and the Five of Swords. So you gave something up. You kicked something to the curb. It could be a relationship, but I almost feel like you quit your job. You quit your job, or yeah, I feel like you quit your job, which, you know, you could take that a lot of different ways. You quit your job, you relinquished your role, you gave up a resource, a community, or something. You just said, I don't need this anymore. And I think you had a very specific idea of what that was going to bring to your life. We have Strength. So I feel like you thought you were relying on this thing too much, and that if you got rid of it, it would clear a lot of space for something new in your life. With this we have 5 lunar cycle cards in this deck. The full moon, which is often, for me, I call it like everything is illuminated. So I think this was a quick fix for you. You thought, I'll just do this, and then everything else will kind of fall into place. And instead, I think you got an even more significant opportunity for personal growth and realization. Like, I feel like this thing that you got rid of was kind of covering up more than you bargained for. And when you got rid of it, all this shit came stirring up. Queen of Swords and 4 of Pentacles. I think I need one more. 3 of Swords inverted. So you felt like you could, I feel like you kind of wanted to get out of jail free card with this, in terms of establishing your boundaries, establishing your mental boundaries, establishing your source of security, you know, your kind of like getting your chakras aligned, getting your shit together. I really thought that this felt like this was cleaning house, and instead what has happened is it's brought up some old wounds and some things that you had been kind of hiding and denying for a long time. What is this old wound? Were you invested in something that ultimately, I feel like someone really hurt you by taking way more from you than they were prepared to give. And instead of dealing with how much this person hurt you, you tried to just redirect that energy into the practical details of your life. You know, it's like, I just need to, you know, it's like someone flooded your house, and as the water receded, you said, oh, I just need to, you know, paint the ceiling, and then the floor won't be rotten anymore. But yeah, this little sliver of darkness keeps coming back in, and you don't want it. You don't want it there. Okay. I'd like to know more about that pain that you went through with that King of Cups there. Who hurt you? Someone made a promise to you Someone made a promise to you. They might not have not used words. They might have used it as a love. Okay, so this is the Lovers. So I feel like this is something romantic, and this could have been a long time ago, or it could have been recently. But someone made a promise to you. I feel like you put a lot into this relationship to make it possible. I feel like you gave up a lot. But I feel like, you didn't think of it that way. You thought you were fine. You thought that you were removed from this situation emotionally. You thought, yeah, there's some weird miscommunication between yourself and you and yourself going on here to do with this relationship. I think you were ashamed about how little this person was actually giving you, and so the way that you adjusted was convince yourself that you weren't actually giving them that much, and that this was just part of your dynamic as a team here. But I almost feel like there's a missing part. Like there's you, and there's this person. There's something missing in the middle. They made a promise to you. What did you think this relationship was going to bring you with this Ten of Cups? Release from fear and relief from relief itself. I feel like you've got the Nine of Swords and the Star inverted here. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the whole concept of like, is it a relationship or not? And I feel like one of the ways that people are now trying to navigate the inevitable pain that love brings is by reducing expectations and obligations to the point where nothing is on the line, theoretically, but which is fine. I'm not saying that like trying to reframe our obligations towards one another isn't a really important part of moving love forward in the modern world, but it can lead to a lot of self-deception. So I feel like you were like, oh yeah, like, you don't owe me anything, I don't owe you anything, so I'm not even really giving you anything. Anything that I give to you is no strings attached. And this doesn't even necessarily translate into the level of commitment that was actually going on, either verbally or in practice, but there is some sort of holding back here. Four of Swords, yeah, almost like you could just have everything that love has to offer without risking anything that love demands. So the promise of this relationship was avoiding the Nine of Wands, the wounded warrior, right? Avoiding investing into something so much that you are then put at danger with this Ace of Pentacles. So also the promise is that like this isn't a commitment, but also if it's not an Ace of Pentacles, what's the point? Like if it's almost like this relationship wanted to make no commitment to the point where it didn't even have a purpose for existing. It's like you're so busy defining the parameters of this relationship that like, do you even know what it's supposed to do for you anymore? Other than prove that it's not going to do anything to you. That's what I'm getting. Looking back at some of these cards here. So where does this leave us now? We need to sort of recenter us. That's sort of like how this happened, but like where are we? Can you just remind us of where we are now? Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So there is an outcome that's happened here, and it's revealing itself, but I don't know how engaged you are in finding your dream. Are you afraid to dream? I feel like that's part of it. Are we afraid to actually have a dream for love in our life? Short answer, yes. So we have the Hanged Man inverted, the High Priestess, and the Ten of Pentacles inverted. So if we never have to sit with what these relationships are doing to us, if we don't have to ask ourselves what we really want, then we have nothing to lose. This Ten of Pentacles indicates to me that something was lost at some point. And it's like, well, I'm never going to lose that again. But the problem is that if you ever lose something again, you can never gain it either. Show me the real dream. I'm going to give all the cards back except for Six of Cups. Show me the real dream that's here, Taurus. Show me the real dream that you've buried under this belief that you have nothing to lose, and nothing to contribute, and nothing to ask for. And show me the dream that God intends for you in the fullness of your heart. So the dream that God intends for you in the fullness of your heart is the fear of the unknowing, the Fool, the Ace of Wands inverted, the Seven of Cups inverted, and Justice. So the Ace of Wands inverted tells me that you are kind of on the right track in the sense that I don't think God wants your love relationship to be indicative or representative even of your true calling in life. But we do want it to, so like when you're dreaming of your life, your love life is not supposed to be in the forefront here. It's not how you're ultimately going to feel cared for or secure. Oh, there it is. What it's for is to drive you forward and carry you through periods of cyclical change and death in your life. So your love is really supposed to be teaching you a lot about yourself, and I feel like if you keep holding yourself back from it, you're going to miss out on a lot of what it has to offer. I think you're like, well, that's not what's most important to me, but it's there to teach you a lot about what is most important to you. I also wonder if this means that like the love interests in your life are going to become business partners or mentors in other ways. But you're having to, yeah, I don't know, this is getting, so it's the Eight of Cups. You're definitely having to let go of something that you're hanging on to. Letting go of your independence, interesting. So it's not, so I think what's happening is you're creating a false dichotomy between being able to pursue what's most important to you and being in a relationship. You think that if you're in a relationship, you can't pursue what's most important to you outside of that relationship. But what's intended is for the Two of Cups. What's intended for you with this Nine of Pentacles, your independence, and your Two of Cups is saying that these relationships are not meant to prevent you from pursuing those things that are most important to you in life. They're meant to fill you up. That these people, that if you want people to come in and support you in pursuing, like I think that you think that the people, like when you think of a love relationship, you just assume that someone isn't going to want to fully support you and isn't going to be prepared to play second fiddle, that isn't going to allow you that independence in your life. And so you think that you just can't have love in your life and maintain that independence. But what God wants for you, you're King of Swords. They want you to take strength from knowing that someone can see you that way and love you for that. You think that you're not worth it. You think that what you would have to do to be worthy of the kind of love that you want is something that is so contradictory to what you're actually capable of giving and want to give, that means that love isn't for you and you're wrong. So that's powerful. You're going to need to take that leap of faith with the Fool and stop letting all of these ideas about how this person's not going to see you this way and they're not going to want to help you and they're going to see you as removed from them and not contributing to them in their lives, that you're not going to be enough for them because of these other things that are important to you. Let that go, because the reality is that is exactly the path that you're on for love in your life, and that person is out there, and those people, I'm meaning people that you're going to have a multitude of relationships, of people who are going to come into your life and help you move forward on your Ace of Wands path in the context of love, and that's the role that love is going to play in your life, and that you're not taking advantage of anyone by doing it that way. So stop holding yourself back thinking that you're going to hurt people by letting them support and uplift and contribute to your life, because they're going to love it because they love you, and we all do. So thank you, Taurus. Can't wait to hear how this goes.